Hello and welcome to the JB&M Sports Fanatic channel. Thank you for joining me for today's video. And we're going to be discussing the Patriots schedule for the 2021 NFL season. So I will do my best to break down just the entire build up to the season, go game by game, and just tell you what I expect or what to look out for in each of these games, my projections, and just give an overview basically of the New England Patriots entering into this season. But before we can talk about the present or the future, it's great to revisit the past. Now, obviously, around this time last year, everyone was still coping with the idea of Tom Brady leaving the New England Patriots. So when he signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it pretty much, left New England fans to really ponder about what the future holds. Was the answer going to be Jarrett Stidham at the time, or was it going to be Brian Hoyer? And it wasn't until a little bit later where Cam Newton was thrown into the picture. So the New England Patriots really did have no idea who their quarterback was going to be. All we knew is that Bill Belichick had a quarterback by the name of Stidham that he loves to call Stid. And so it seemed like, from a relationship standpoint, that might be reason enough to throw him in the fire, as he seemed to like Stid. But fast forward from that, but prior to the season starting, obviously with COVID last year, a lot of craziness. And so we ended up having 8 players that opted out for the season. And these were some big time players here for the Patriots. We're talking about guys like Marcus Cannon, who's a tackle, linebacker Dante Hightower, safety Patrick Chung, and then at tight end, Matt Lacrosse, in which the Patriots last year basically got no production out of the tight end position, none whatsoever. Then guys like Brandon Bolden, who contributed on special teams, fullback Danvers Vitale, who had not played for the Patriots specifically, guys like him and Marquise Lee and so forth. But they were guys that we were bringing in expecting to have an impact, on the Patriots team. So all of those guys opt out, the most in the league. So now you're already losing your franchise quarterback who you've had for such a long time, 2 decades basically. And yeah, so then you lose these 8 opt-outs as well, and not to mention, the receiver position's already thin. So then you go through this past season, and obviously, it was not great. Cam Newton started off good until he got COVID, and after that, it went downhill. And so the fan base has pretty much been divided ever since that occurred. And some people, they're just diehard Brady fans now. Others, they just really don't like the quarterback situation, or didn't like the quarterback situation with Cam Newton up under the helm. So that really divided the Patriots nation. But that being said, Mac Jones was drafted, and so this might be what it takes to reunite the Patriot nation, especially if he goes out there and just does great. We do not need for him to come out and look like anything that Tom Brady did, over the last couple of years. Just looks something like what Tom Brady looked like early in his career as well. That plus Bill Belichick's defense, and the Patriots may end up looking forward to a great season. That being said, though, let's go ahead and start talking about some of the guys that they were able to bring in this offseason. Now, it started off with Bill Belichick making the decision to re-sign Cam Newton. When he brought him last year, nobody else wanted him, so he was able to get him cheap, and he brought him back a little bit more than he paid last time, but still on the cheap as well. And then re-signing guys like James White, who's been a staple in this offense, particularly being a pass-catching weapon that he is. And then at the receiver position, what really one of the things that really made headlines was bringing in guys like Nelson Aguilar, signing a 2-year deal, Kendrick Bourne coming over from the 49ers as well. Those two guys definitely helped improve the receiving position that did see guys like Darius Byrd and so forth lead the Patriots. Obviously, Julian Edelman, as much as he's meant for the New England Patriots, he was battling injuries, and so he decided to go ahead and retire. So the Patriots, they basically upgraded drastically at the receiver position, although they still need a true number one receiver, but they're going to be competing to see who's going to go out there and be the number one receiver for the Patriots. N'Keal Harry has not been what they hoped he would be so far in his career. So it'd be nice if that changed. But I did hear earlier in the offseason that they were at least open to shipping him away via trade. But we'll see what happens, after obviously training camp and everything, and see where everything lines up in that position. But one of the positions in which they improved the most upon was the tight end position. They went out there and they opened up the wallet and they brought in Janu Smith on a 4-year deal, and Hunter Henry, they brought him in on a 3-year deal as well. And so those moves were absolutely fantastic, as the Patriots, although they drafted 2 tight ends in the 3rd round last year, they got absolutely nothing from the tight end position. And so when you go from nothing to these guys right here, that's a drastic upgrade right there. So you definitely I've already talked about four guys that Cam Newton could potentially throw to, or either if not Cam Newton, then they'll take the direction of Mac Jones. But I expect Cam Newton to start off early in the season and at some point transition over to Mac Jones. That's at least my expectations. So with that being said, though, they went ahead and got some targets for him, and then they made the trade with the Las Vegas Raiders, where they brought back Trent Brown, who obviously went to Las Vegas, to seek more money, but it just wasn't the best fit. So he's coming back to a team where he experienced a lot of success. And then being able to sign David Andrews, that was huge. I know that they brought, guys like Ted Karras to also come in, from Miami, but bringing David Andrews back, that was big, big time. And then when you're talking about the defensive side of the ball, guys like Dietrich Rice Jr., bringing, to come in off the edge, re-signing Lawrence Guy, Marte. I'm not even going to discuss the draft picks yet until after I get through this. But just, yeah, a lot of guys they brought in on the defensive line to help stop the run. The Patriots, throughout Bill Belichick's time in New England, they've been pretty good at stopping the run. But last season was an exception to that. Although the defense was good, but they really left a lot to be desired in terms of stopping the run. And then you add guys like Matt Judon to help come in off the edge, bringing back Kyle Van Noy. That was huge right there. Obviously, he went to Miami last year, but bringing him back, that's big. Matt Patricia's back in the house, so I expect this defense to continue to improve, and as well as some additions in the secondary that they were able to bring in, like Jalen Mills, for example. So they've done some really nice things throughout free agency. They really wanted to be aggressive and address some needs. And so once you start discussing that, obviously, what they did throughout the draft. I keep mentioning Mac Jones, but just bringing in all the pieces that they did bring in, it just really is going to contribute and show that the New England Patriots are, going to be much improved, I believe, for this upcoming season. So now to discuss the season here. And so, yeah, they're going to start off, their preseason first one to be against the Washington football team. And that'll really be for the fans, our first look at looking at, Mac Jones and Cam Newton. I wonder if Bill Belichick will let each, start a game just to see how they both look with the starting unit, or if Cam's going to take the first team reps and then at some point he pulls him out and then put Mac Jones in there. So we'll have to see. Obviously, for Bill Belichick, if Mac Jones goes out there and really just shows that he, should be the starting quarterback, Bill will give him that job, but not until he actually goes out there and show it. And Bill's not going to be the type of coach that's, trying to force the issue. He's going to have to really go out there and show that there's a substantial difference for him to go out there and start. So that being said, you play the Washington football team, play the Eagles, and then after that, the New York football Giants. And so we get to the first regular season game. So now the fun part. Let's get to the regular season. So opening day against the Miami Dolphins in New England. Everybody's excited to be back. The fans are excited to be back. We're going against a young quarterback in Tua Tagovailoa. Patriots obviously got guys like Stephon Gilmore in the backfield, 2 years ago, Defensive Player of the Year, as well as J.C. Jackson on the other side, and then just all the talent that New England has went out and acquired. So it's going to be a lot. Everybody's going to be energetic. Cam Newton, that I feel at this point, will be starting the opening game, and he's definitely going to be on a short leash. So therefore, he cannot go out there and mess around. He's going to have to start off like he did last year and try to maintain it for as long as he can. So I feel just like last year, the Patriots will find a way to win the opening game, giving them a W and starting off at 1-0. And then week 2 against the Jets, at the Jets, rookie quarterback and Kyle Wilson. Bill Belichick versus rookie quarterbacks typically result in W's. So I'll give this one to the New England Patriots, although it will be close, but I'll give that one to the Patriots, having them start off at 2-0. And then against the New Orleans Saints, I feel like this game right here will be dependent upon who the Saints throw out there at quarterback. If it's Taysom Hill, then I definitely like the Patriots' chance. If they're going with Jameis Winston, there's just something about the possibility of Winston to Michael Thomas that seems very intriguing, in an addition of Alvin Kamara. Now, what I mean by this is that last year, if you watch the Saints play throughout the time that Drew Brees was not playing, Alvin Kamara yards went down a good amount in terms of his, yards per game. And so just having that threat of a quarterback who can throw the ball deep, that is going to be significant there. So I'll just say, because it's in New England and we don't really know who the Saints are going to put out there at quarterback, I'll give this one to the New England Patriots here, having them start off at 3-0. So at this point, They're going to be going against the Buccaneers in week 4. And so, based upon what I've projected so far and what I think would be the case, both teams will be entering this game 3-0. And obviously, the storyline is going to be Brady coming back to the Patriots, to face his former team, his former head coach. So it'll be Belichick versus Brady. It'll be the headline. We all know that. And it's going to be a nighttime game as well. But that being said, though, um, I'm going to give this one to the Buccaneers. Obviously, Brady wants to be able to say that he's beaten every team. It's going to mean so much to Brady to win. I think the fans will handle this one with class when he does show up, and just, give him all the cheers, him and Gronk both. So we'll see how that plays out. But I'll give that one to the Buccaneers, which will put the Patriots here at 3-1. And so now going down to the Houston Texans, week 5. I'm going to make this projection based upon the fact that I think Deshaun Watson will not be playing in this game. I just don't feel that everything's going to be sorted out by the time, this game comes on. And so I feel he'll miss a significant amount of the season, if not all the season, most likely. And so, yeah, I've got the Patriots winning this one. Cam Newton still at quarterback, but the Patriots winning this one. And so that'll put them at 4-1. Next up is the Cowboys and the Patriots. So this one is intriguing from the sense of the Cowboys offense versus Patriots defense. Last time these two played, Stephon Gilmore made life pretty difficult for Amari Cooper. I will say that, but he made it difficult for a lot of receivers out there. That being said, though, they do have guys like CeeDee Lamb now, so this will be a tough one, but I will give this one to the Cowboys in the sense that I feel that the Cowboys, they'll probably just find a way to outscore, put up more points than the Patriots offense can muster in that game. So I expect for the Cowboys to get that one. That'll put the Patriots at 4-2 on the season. Next is the Jets going down to the Patriots. And with that one, yeah, I'll definitely give that one to the Patriots to win at home against the Jets. And this will have them sweep the Jets here, putting them at 5-2. And so next up would be the Patriots versus the Chargers. Justin Herbert and the Chargers, they're going to be looking real good this season. That this is probably a team that you want to keep an eye on as a sleeper team. One of those teams that I feel has every potential to make the playoffs, especially considering teams that improved that did not make it last year and how they finished last year. So I have them picking up where they finished off at last year. And with that being said, I'll give the Chargers this victory, which will put the Patriots at 5-3. So after that, against the Carolina Panthers, anytime the Patriots and Panthers play, I feel like it's always a very, very physical game coming down to a play here or there. And so with that being the case, Cam Newton going against his former team, I just feel that the Panthers, they'll find a way to win this game. And so they will win a close game here. And by this point of the season, the fans are going to be screaming for Mac Jones. So yeah, this will put the Patriots at 5-4. So then the Browns, coming down to the Patriots. Obviously, the Browns are one of the best teams in the AFC. They've got a lot of talent. And so I feel like for this particular game right here, the Patriots just find a way to win. I mean, coming off of 2 straight losses, they find a way to not make it 3 in a row, and they get the W against the Cleveland Browns, which would put them at 6-4. And then going down to the Atlanta Falcons, nighttime game in Atlanta. I feel like this one right here would probably be a good game to start Mac Jones. It's going to be televised. And so for this one right here, I'll give this one to the New England Patriots here. They'll win this one because the defense will find a way to slow down, Matty Ice and the offense. And so, yeah, with Mac Jones, he provides a spark. And so the Patriots end up winning this game. That puts them at 7-4. Now against the Tennessee Titans at home, it's late November game. I will say that this one will go down to. I'll give this one to the Tennessee Titans right now. Yeah, I'll give the Titans this one. As Mac Jones obviously is a rookie, he's still filling out his way, and so obviously the Titans. There's so much they can do in a ground game. That was a struggle for the Patriots last year. I expect them to be much improved, but I'll give this one to the Tennessee Titans. That'll put them at 7-5. Okay, Patriots versus the Bills. Going down to Buffalo, December 6th, weather's cold now. Buffalo, obviously is a tremendous team. They've got a lot of talent. So I will give this one to the Buffalo Bills, which will drop the Patriots to 7-6. So now going down to the Indianapolis Colts. And so for this game right here, it's going to come down to Carson Wentz. He's going to be the X factor, honestly. But I feel that Bill Belichick's going to have something special for him, particularly. And he's going to find a way for the Patriots to go down to the Colts and to beat them in a very important game for the Patriots in terms of standing. And that'll put them at 8-6 on the season. And then the week after that, being at home against the Buffalo Bills, I feel like this one will come down very close, similar to last year when Cam Newton had fumbled the ball on the game-winning drive for the Patriots. But with Mac Jones in at quarterback, I think he finds a way to get a W here. It starts to come together for him and the Patriots. And not to mention the weather as well will be a factor in this game, making it hard for both teams to throw the ball, which may actually play in the Patriots' favor here, not allowing Josh Allen to be able to connect with Stephon Diggs like he did last year. So with that being said, I'll give this one to the Patriots, which would put them, at 9-6. And then you go on to the Jaguars, and having to play the Jaguars, the Jaguars not a team that, is from the cold weather, another rookie quarterback and a rookie head coach. So I'll give that one to the Patriots, and that'll put them at 10-6. And then for the season final, going against the Miami Dolphins, we all know that lately the Patriots and the Dolphins, they've been splitting. Miami's been winning at home, New England's been winning at home. So I expect for that to remain the same this time around, as Miami's a very talented team. So I will give this game right here to the Miami Dolphins, which means I have the Patriots finishing with a record of 10-7 on the season. I think that's enough for them to qualify for just barely getting into the playoffs, but definitely compared to last year, making the playoffs would be much improved there. And I do feel that, obviously there's a lot of factors that's involved. Injuries is obviously going to be very important, but the timing in which they put Mac Jones in, assuming that he does get in at some point this season, is going to be critical to how this thing plays out towards the end of the season. So we'll see how that all plays out. But as always, thank you so much for joining me for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. And as always, I enjoy dropping these videos, so I'll see, what team I plan on doing a schedule analysis over next time. But thank you again for watching, and have a great rest of your day.